What's up, folks? Today I'm going to be reviewing a game called Foil. This game came out in 1968 from the 3M Bookshelf Company, and it is for 2 to 4 players. Now, the object of Foil is you are going to be creating words with these cards, and you're going to be drawing these cards, and what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to scramble up the words and then make it hard for your opponent to try to guess them. At the same time, you're going to be trying to guess what your opponent's words are as well. So, without further ado, let's show you how it works. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and show you the components really quick. First thing you have here are your cards, and there's quite a bunch of these here. Some of these cards, such as a J, have the word bonus on them, and I'll talk about what that means here in a little bit. Here you have your card tray. You have a timer over here, and I believe this timer is 5 minutes. I believe that's the number of minutes it is. Right here you have your little card trays, and this is where you're going to be placing your scrambled words after you have finished them. Okay, so basically here's how the game works. You're going to be dealt out 10 cards, and you're going to be trying to form words with these cards. You can form as many words as you want. Just a couple of rules. The words have to be at least 4 letters long that you're going to be forming, and there are 3 rounds that you're going to be doing. In the first round, there is 1 word that has to be 5 letters. Second round, 1 has to be 6. Third round, 1 has to be 7, etc. There's also a rule with the S. If you're going to use an S to pluralize a word, the word has to be made 6 letters. So say if you wanted to spell the word train, in order to be able to legally use the S, you would have trains, and that would be the 6-letter minimum that you would need. So those are really the only rules that you have to think about. There's also some penalties as well, and I'll talk about those, how those work here in a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at what you got here, and right now player 1 has 2 words that he can form. He can make gnat and he can make loom if he decides to. He can make as many words as he would like to. He can make them any length he wants to, so long as they're at least 4 letters long, and one of the words matches the match requirement. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, since I got these 2, I'm going to go ahead and draw. You'll go ahead and draw one. And you can also draw from here as well, either here or here. And one thing you can do is, if you want, you can draw as many cards from here as you like, so long as you don't draw from here. So anyway, I went ahead and I drew a W, and I can't really use it right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get rid of this U over here. And then it's going to go to player 2. So player 2 looks at his words, and he has 1 word. He's got wrap. So let's just go ahead and say he picks this up, and he's gone ahead and got an A. So let's see if there's anything I can do with this A. Can't really do anything with the A, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this G over here. And so now it's going to go back to player 1, and player 1's going to go ahead and look and see if he can do anything with the G. Can't really do anything with the G, so he'll go ahead and draw himself, and he's got an E. At the moment, he doesn't have anything that he can do, so he's going to go ahead and just get rid of the Z, since can't really do much with the Z at the moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy, and let's see, he's got wrap. So he's going to go ahead and draw himself, and he's drawn a U. Can't really do much with that, because that's only 3 letters, so he'll go ahead and discard this. Okay, so now we're to this point. We've played a little while, and player 1 now has all of these cards, and he actually can go ahead and lay down. Now, there's a couple things you can do. If it's your turn and you already have all the cards that you need, you don't have to go and pick up a card or discard. If it turns out that you draw a card and then are able to form all of your words that way, you're going to have to discard one. So anyway, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to knock on the table like so, and that's going to tell everybody that I've gotten all the cards that I can go ahead and unscramble. Now, in order for you to knock, you're going to have to be able to use all of the letters that are in your hand. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and just start scrambling these words up here, and then player 2 will go ahead and do the same with him, and I'll do him in just a second here. Okay, so player 1's gone ahead and scrambled all of his letters. Now player 2 is going to look and see what he has, and again, you have to have 1 word that is going to be at least 5 letters long because of the match requirement, and that would be this one, which is loomed. So now player 2 is going to have to try to do the same thing. So he goes ahead and he takes out these letters to make wrapper. So that'll be his 5-letter requirement. If he's not able to make that, he's going to get penalized. So let's just go ahead and say he scrambles this up. And he is not able to use any of these because he has to have at least 4 letters. So these are going to be placed off to the side like so. And then what's going to happen is everybody's going to go ahead and turn their letters towards the other players. and then the timer is going to go ahead and start. And everybody has until the timer drops to try to unscramble all of the words. So let's just go ahead and say that I've unscrambled all of my opponent's letters, and he has unscrambled all of mine. After that happens, we're going to go ahead and tally the score. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the scoring. First, we'll start with the bonus letter. Now, if I've used any bonus letters in my word, I'm going to go ahead and get points for it. In this case, I've used an X for oxen. And for each bonus letter, that is worth 5 points. So I'll go ahead and write that in there. All right, next up is for each other letter used in the word. So for the other letters, I'm going to go ahead and count 2 points per letter that I've used in my word. Not quite sure if the bonus one counts. I don't think it does, but let's just assume it does. So it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 28 points. So I will go ahead and score 28 points for using all of these cards. Now my opponent's letter, if I'm able to unscramble any of my opponent's words, I'm going to receive 1 point for each card that was in that unscrambled word. So my opponent spelled wrapper, and let's just say that I was able to unscramble that word. I'm going to get 7 points for that. So now, knocking. Now, if I am the player that knocked, saying that I'm the one that went ahead, knocked on the table, and put down all my cards, bonus for somebody who knocks is going to be 15 points. So since this guy knocked, which is me, I'll get 15 points for that. Other players with no unused cards. Now, for the unused cards, now if the other players had managed to use all of their cards to unscramble with, after the knocking, they're going to receive a bonus. Now, player 2 did not use all of his cards, but if he had used all of his cards, he would receive 10 points, so this doesn't count towards me, but let's just say 10 points for opponent right there. Forming 4 or more words is another one. This is here. If after I've knocked, I was able to form 4 or more words, I've formed 3 here, I'm going to get a bonus for that as well. For that, you're going to go ahead and get a 5-point bonus. I did not form 4 words, so I'm not going to get anything for that. Forming word using all cards in hand. This basically means if I was able to spell one word with all the cards that I have in my hand after I knocked, I'm going to go ahead and score a bonus for that. Same goes with my opponent. If he is able to form one word with all of his cards after the knocking, he would go ahead and receive a bonus of 10 points. Again, I did not do that, so I'm not going to get a bonus for that. Here's another one called unscrambled. If it turns out that my opponent is unable to unscramble one of my words, I'm going to receive a bonus for that. So that's going to be 10 points. Let's just say that my opponent, now my opponent did, in this case, unscramble all of the words, but let's just say he didn't. Let's say he wasn't able to get loomed. He was not unable to do that word, so in that case I will get a 10-point bonus for that. Now, there are also penalties that you have to factor in as well. Now, you'll receive a 20-point penalty if you end up making a word the wrong size or if you are unable to match the requirement. So in match 1, you have to have a word that's 5 letters. Let's say that I went ahead and I knocked on the table, but I did not have a 5-letter word. I would end up getting a 20-point penalty for it. And I believe the same thing it also counts for the opponents if they are unable to make a word that matches the requirement. Now, there's also a violation in which if you use the S wrong. So if I ended up, say, spelled a word looms with an S, you have to be able to make it 6 letters at least with an S. Since looms is 5 letters, that's going to be a violation, and that would count 10 points against me. Now, there's also another one where you will get 20 points taken off your score if you are unable to scramble your own word. So if you end up scrambling up a word and then at the end of the round you can't figure out what you did, that is a 20-point penalty. So anyway, what you'll do is you'll just go ahead and simply add up all of these points over here and total them up, and then you're going to do 3 rounds. The second round you're going to need one word that's 6 letters. Third round you're going to go and need one that is 7 letters. And the winner of the game is going to be the one that ends up scoring the most points after 3 rounds. Now, if you go on Board Game Geek, there is a file on there that is a score sheet that you can download. It looks kind of like this. I'm going to put the link in the description so you can check it out or download it if you need it. But it's a really handy tool since there's a lot of ways you can score points. So anyway, check that out.
So my thoughts on foil.
Well, I can honestly say I've never seen a game quite like Foil. I've seen word rummy games and, of course, number rummy games, but I've never seen a game that involves you having to scramble up words and then having to make people guess them. It has a rather interesting scoring system. There's a lot of different ways that you can score, and so a lot of what you have to do is you have to try to figure, okay, do I want to try to make a longer word? What exactly do I want to do? Because you're also having to factor in that your opponent could knock on the table at any time, and if you have a lot of letters that you're not going to end up using, that's going to affect your score. So there's a lot of thinking that goes on to this game, not only as you're trying to make the words and trying to figure out how long you want to make them, how many words you want to make, but also trying to figure out what your opponent's words are as well. So if you are a fan of word games, especially if you like to try to unscramble words, I would definitely give this game a try. This is one of 3M Bookshelf's cheaper games. I think you can probably get this for around $10 on eBay or so, and there's two different versions. There's the Gamette version, which is a smaller box. It just doesn't come with the holders. So if you find this at a thrift store, if you want to try to sell, you might be able to get a few bucks for it. But ultimately, this is a really cool game, I think. It's not one that we play a lot because it does require a lot of thinking, so you just have to kind of be in the mood to play this game. So anyway, this is a very unique game for sure, and again, I've never seen a game like this. So give it a try if you like word games. Anyway, guys, that's my review. Y'all keep on gaming. We'll see you later.